Good morning, Miss Lots. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. You guys know how I do. You're just gonna have to catch the replay. Hey, K Brown. You know when I wake up with something, I say, you know what? I gotta talk about it. Gotta talk about it now. Makes you feel better. I'm gonna have my coffee with you guys because I haven't had it just yet. But this was really, 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 really heavy on my heart, and I said, you know what? I think I need to chat about it. Hey, me, us, how you doing? So, as you can see, the title of the live is Living with Chronic PTSD. So, nice to meet you. I am Chatty, and I have been diagnosed with chronic PTSD 4 years ago. And that is 100% okay. I feel like our community has really painted such a negative picture towards mental health and how important it is to be diagnosed or understand what's going on with you and almost kind of laughed at it over the years. How many times have we heard people say, oh, he's crazy or she's crazy? And that might not very well be the case. And I'm sure there's so many people that are not here anymore for fear of judgment, of being judged. So with chronic PTSD, good morning, Miss Claudette. Thank you. So with chronic PTSD, there's a number of reasons of why one could be diagnosed. A mother can lose a child. You can view something. Um, you can hear something. You can experience a word. And with me, it was a loss and seeing something that I could not unsee and hearing things that I could not um, unhear. And for as far as knowing if something is wrong with you or not, everyone's different, but I can only explain what I started feeling so that if someone somewhere is experiencing that, you might need to speak with someone because the reality is it's dangerous if undiagnosed. You can really hurt someone or yourself and not know why you are reacting to certain things in certain ways. And excuse me, with me, I noticed, a few weeks after um, the traumatic experience, I first started receiving these headaches and just out of this world headaches, and it left me kind of dizzy a lot of the time and a lot of the days. And I let that go on, but then that was also accompanied by anger. And I'm not talking about just normal anger, I'm talking about rage, you guys. I mean, talk to me nice sort of anger to where I couldn't control it. And that's what was scary for me because people would say things, something that wouldn't necessarily bother me. Like, for example, if you go to McDonald's and they mess up your order, you're okay with that, right? You'll say, hey, I'm missing this. But when I was at the height of my diagnosis, before I was diagnosed, I wanted to go inside the restaurant and hurt the person that did it. You know what I mean? Hey, sunshine. And after experiencing those feelings for a couple of weeks, I became scared because that rage I didn't like. It just made me feel like this is something is wrong. Something is wrong with me and I didn't like that feeling. I could not speak about the experience. I would walk away. I wouldn't I couldn't. It was really weird. Um, and then I don't know, I was numb, and that's when I went for some tattoos. And I have ink, but it was really different at this time because I wasn't getting them necessarily for what I normally did. I was getting them to feel because I was that numb. And I think just that feeling kind of just made me feel alive. So after experiencing all of this, I finally went and spoke with a therapist and I explained what happened. I explained what I experienced. And I'm so thankful for him 4 years ago and even more thankful now because prior to telling me, he asked if I mind if he just places his hand on my hand because I was just sitting there. I was, when you kind of shake your leg after you have a little coffee or you like just rub your feet back and forth, or I couldn't sit still. So he asked if he can like put his hand on like my knee, my lap, where like my hands were, because I guess he saw that I was moving. And that's when he told me what I had. And it was in that moment that I kind of, I don't know, you guys, I just felt normal. You know what I'm saying? I felt normal. So he was explaining the symptoms, and I got such a sense of relief in that moment because I thought I was completely insane. You guys, there's a level of disconnect you have when you experience something traumatic that can prompt a chronic PTSD disorder to where you know you are not yourself. And I knew it. And I can only again speak of what made me go seek help because I wasn't myself. You know, granted, the other things I wasn't engaging in, sleeping, yeah, right. Caring about my appearance, yeah, right. Um, Excessive drinking, absolutely. All of these things were part of my diagnosis, and then depression and anxiety. But my triggers, I couldn't deal with loud noises. I couldn't deal with anger. I couldn't deal with someone speaking to me abrasively, and I would react. If someone would yell, it would send me into a rage almost. And again, I'm normally not that type of person, and I knew that something was wrong. And I urge so many in my community, especially women and just our culture, it's so important to know what you're experiencing and speak with someone because there's nothing funny about trauma, right? We know that as adults. There's nothing funny about trauma. There's nothing funny about not feeling yourself. And these are all serious things that I think we need to focus on. And it's okay to not be okay. But what's not okay is when we're walking around undiagnosed and not knowing what's going on with us. And a lot of the time, grief, sudden traumatic loss can all be factors. Now, the one thing with chronic PTSD, is it forever? No. Have I managed it over the years? Absolutely. Do I know my triggers? Yes. And I'm still triggered in certain instances where I know that I have to walk away from certain situations. I know that I can't hear certain loud things because I might not be able to control a rage if it comes because I'm still reminded. Unfortunately, not everyone has daily reminders of their what causes it. I do. So at any moment, I can be triggered. And normally, for the most part, my trigger I know is, angry, rude tones. I can't hear it. Or if someone, yells at me or very, very rude, it sends me, to a different space and I'll walk away. I have to for fear of what I would do. You know what I'm saying? I flipped a table when I was undiagnosed, and I'm not that person. So it's really, really, really important to get those. Good morning, my Angie Pooh. How are you? Good morning, Simone. And we experience so much, and we make light of it. You guys, my sisters, my brothers, my friends, my family, we make light of it. But the reality is, things that happen to us in our lives could really affect our day to day. And I just think it's really, really important to understand your diagnosis, to not be ashamed if you do have a diagnosis, and know that it can be manageable. You know what I'm saying? So when I say talk to me nice, y'all, I be meaning it. Because I'm not wrapped too tight. I got a doctor's note and everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I was in school, I would come with a little note, be like, "Look here, leave this one alone. Just let me sit here in my helmet, child, and don't say nothing crazy. Don't move suddenly. I have PTSD." I can laugh at it now because it feels good to know what you're experiencing, but it did not feel good in that moment, y'all. It's very scary to kind of be outside. Like I was outside of myself, looking at myself, saying something's wrong. You know what I mean? And it's just me, us. You have PTSD from a car accident. See, me, us. One. thank you for sharing that. And two, yes, that is certainly something that can cause your PTSD. Avoidance is also another thing that my therapist shared with me. For example, if you, let's just say, if you have a loss and someone passed away in a hospital, or the street that something, you will avoid that area. And that was something that I was doing unknowingly to myself. I avoided an area for 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. I'm literally, and I share this in the beginning for those that, stuck around, and have listened to me from the beginning. You know that I talked about things and kind of just getting out of my bubble because I was in a space, you guys. I really was. And we don't talk about that enough. Grief, loss, all of that really affects us. And if you look at who you were before the impact, being not the impact being the experience or the loss or whatever it was that caused you to be differently, you're literally not the same person. You know what I mean? I'm not who I was before that incident. I'm simply not. That person no longer exists. I'm someone different now. I'm someone that lives differently now. I react differently now. I have to be surrounded by peace now. I ground more now. Um, I appreciate life more now, the simple things. I appreciate more now. I rather lead in love than hate if I can. I rather have the people that I love, I check on them way more. You're forever changed after a certain event, and mine changed me tremendously. Good morning, Miss Dawson. How are you? I hope well. You know, and I can't stress it enough. I don't know why our community is like this, where we laugh at pain or we just laugh it off without getting the proper help. But I can only imagine before, years ago, if you paid attention or the stats, in our community, we didn't have the SUICIDE rate as we did now. Our numbers are increasing in our demographic, you guys. And I think it's because we make light of really, really traumatic experiences. And we need to be a little bit more gracious and gentle with one another because let's face it, who hasn't experienced some pain and trauma, right? You know what I mean? Like, come on, like we all have. Good morning, Shelly. We've all experienced, some sort of pain and some sort of trauma. And mine, prompted my chronic PTSD diagnosis. And I'm so forever thankful. You guys, I promise you, when I was diagnosed, it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulder because it allowed me to say, oh gosh, I'm not going crazy. You know what I mean? I was literally like, I felt insane. But why are we not gentle with ourselves to know that when we experience something painful, we're supposed to feel that. And if you don't, then that's a diagnosis within itself, you know? We're not gracious enough with ourselves. When we experience something, we're trained to get up. Oh, you'll be okay. You got this. That's how we handle things in our community. Even starting with our little boys when they fall or when they want to cry, get up, man, man. We train our children at a young age, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing because it's in us, right? We literally train starting young, get up, you're all right, don't cry. And we shouldn't have to do that. We have to be extremely extremely gentle with ourselves and our mental because undiagnosed disorders are very very dangerous. I can only imagine where I would be had I not had someone talking me through what I was seeing and experiencing. And I don't think it would have been pretty, you guys. I really don't, because the reason why I even went to see someone is because I was scared. The thoughts that I was having, the rage that I had. the damage that I could have done to someone simply for saying the wrong thing to me or moving in a certain way, that was not good. So just knowing and having someone talk me through that to let me know, hey, you're going to experience this, or hey, have you ever had this thought, or just making me feel okay. That was so refreshing. And it literally changed my life talking through it. And like I said, it's fine now because it's not something that will remain with you forever, but you are still going to have your triggers, especially if things took place at a certain location or if you saw something that was traumatic, you will have certain triggers, but just knowing what they are or knowing that you're not insane takes such a weight off of our shoulders. And we need to be more gentle with ourselves and one another, especially in our community, because the stats of what's occurring in our community of people that are choosing to end it is terrifying. And I think it's because we laugh at situations and we call people crazy. And it's just not okay, you guys. It's not. Miss Charlene, first of all, before I read that, is it okay if I read your comment out loud, Miss Charlene? I don't want to trigger you. I want your permission, baby. I want your permission. Miss Dawson, and then it's so funny, Miss Dawson. I don't know if I spoke or not, but one of the things with my chronic PTSD or PTSD, your short-term memory, and I'm laughing because people don't know why sometimes you might be forgetful. Like my short-term memory, I promise you, I won't remember if it was just 5 minutes ago. Now you can ask me something from 5 years ago, and I can probably tell you what I was wearing, but 5 minutes ago, child, it's gonna take me a minute. Okay, thank you, Charlene. Hey, Heal with Tree, how you doing, baby? Charlene says she suffers from PTSD. Hey, boo, join the club. From the military. Yes, 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 yes. That's something else, Miss Charlene. Our vets, man, I feel for so many, and I have certain triggers. Thanks for sharing that. Shank, thanks for sharing that, Miss Charlene. The military, I think that's not talked about enough. You know, my uncle, although he hasn't sought help, something's different with him when he came back. You know, I notice it. Um, he's just been changed. We've noticed that when he returned from his stay. So I think it's so important, you guys. It's so important. Not everyone, this live is not for everyone. Not everyone wants to talk about these things, and that's fine. But I do. And I will share because maybe somebody somewhere, just needs to hear that they're not insane. It is completely normal to be impacted if you experienced or saw something traumatic. What's not normal is trying to denormalize it. That's not normal. Or trying to sweep it under the rug. There's nothing normal about that type of behavior. And never surround yourself with someone that's going to try to, you know, pray it away or give you a positive quote away. Some things really require you speaking them out with a professional long term and not just trying to listen to a song or hey girl let's go out dancing. No, some things are deeper than that. We continuously put band-aids on wounds that require stitches. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. We cannot continue to put band-aids on wounds that require stitches. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Heal with Tree, blessed. I'm going through this now. It's bringing me back to my childhood. I get triggered. I said I would take it to my grave. It's not working. It's not, Miss Tree, and it's not going to work. And if you're feeling like this, it's time. You know what I'm saying? It's time. It's time. I want that for you. I really do. I want that for you because that's a lot of things. Do you know how many? I've seen it more in men, you guys. And I don't want to share who or whatever, but I was really saddened to learn a lot of men have had childhoods that they don't necessarily start to speak about until they get older with their relationship with their mother or growing up, and things that they experience. It doesn't tend to come out until they're in relationships and you learn things. I was so saddened to and it made sense because of I saw his actions, but I had no idea that a gentleman's, mother basically gave him away, and he spent some time in foster care, and they would lock the fridge. I'm listening to this like I only hear about this stuff in movies, and he's saying this stuff so casually, but paying attention to his mannerisms, certain things made sense to me of why he behaved this way, and so thankful that he listened and can speak with someone in confidence. Years ago, it made a difference because a lot of the times it affects our relationships, especially if there's childhood trauma, and PTSD can certainly appear in adults if you have childhood trauma that you never spoke about, and you might not know why you react certain ways. I have a friend that literally has a, you might as well say it's a beverage center. They have to have multiple cases of water, every juice, soda imaginable, fridge, mini fridge. They got a reserve in the and they said, and I'm not laughing. They didn't have much to drink when they were all, they wanted juice and sodas. So now as an adult, this person, that childhood trauma reappears to where whenever there's something on sale, they're gonna go buy it. You know, we have these instances where we don't talk about it, but our childhood or undiagnosed trauma definitely does affect our adult day-to-day lives. And you had someone as a child that wanted many beverages, but now as an adult, they become obsessive with it to ensure that themselves or their children will never not have something to drink. You know what I mean? And that's just a prime example of our trauma reappearing if we don't do anything to address it. If we don't address it, it will address us. I'm going to say that again. If we don't address it, eventually it will address us. And that can become very, very scary. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Chad. I didn't need to hear this. I'm sorry, baby. And I'm not going to tell you don't cry because you need to. And that's why it's coming out. And crying is cleansing. And I'm sorry that you're hurting. I hope you heal. And I hope you speak to someone soon, sweetheart. I really do. I mean that truly. I hope you know I do. I promise you. Child, not only am I a Gemini, but my moon is in Capricorn. So basically I'm just a walking sponge that absorbs everything and be crying. Child, I'll tell you in a minute. Now don't get it twisted. I will put my shoe in the back of someone's white tee if need be. Because keep in mind, I have PTSD. But for the most part, I do feel and empathize with others, even if they, don't with me. That's fine. I can't help it. It's literally in my chemical build, you know. So I don't want to take too much time on this Sunday because I want us to have an amazing day for whoever hears this. And sometimes we do have to, speak about uncomfortable things to grow because growth is uncomfortable. I'm going to say that again. Growth is uncomfortable. And if we don't take anything for the people that will listen to this, fast forward, listen, or catch little parts, that's why I repeat certain things. And something that's weighing really, really heavy on me to someone somewhere is that you can't keep putting a band-aid over this wound that requires stitches. I don't know why, but I think somebody somewhere needs to hear that. And all the love, Tree. Let's give some love for Miss Tree. One, for being brave for saying and expressing her feelings, and two, because you deserve it. So all the love and all the kisses. And I hope you laugh and smile today. So I'm not going to take up too much of your Sunday. I promise. I'm still in bed. I'm going to have some coffee and take it easy as well. I hope you guys are gentle with yourself. Be gracious with yourself. Understand that you're not insane and there is nothing wrong with having an emotion to something that impacted your life. What is wrong is us trying to act like a traumatic experience does not change us. That is wrong. All right? Okay. I love you guys. Please make sure to hit the like button. It's free and it does help me out. Again, it's free. All you got to do is hit like. Stay true to you guys. Thanks for watching. Bush Watchers, you can hit the like too. It's okay. And I hope you guys have an amazing day and let's have an amazing week. You know what I mean? Just saying. Talk to you later. You're welcome. Miss Charlene, thank you. You have a blessed Sunday as well, cutie. I love you guys. Stay mindful.